Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to discuss gold mining capital, African rainbow minerals growth opportunities, and Implats working with the Zimbabwean government. Hi Martin.
Hi Sashni.
Now, Goldfields CEO Nick Holland has said that capital is no longer easily available to gold mining companies.
This is an incredible revelation. You know, I remember the days when gold shares would always trade at a price premium. I mean, it was a different story. People used to really seek activity in gold. Investors were always around gold mines. There was a lot of activity here and you had a big choice. What he's saying now is that the market is off gold and that you battle to actually raise capital for gold, and that you've got passive investors who do not really follow their rights when it comes to raising equity capital that you need. So, you know, the whole gold world has changed. And so you see a company like Goldfields, you know, winning awards and doing all sorts of activities around the world, but not being able to get the proper support from its shareholders that it used to get, and talking about indexes and passive shareholders and a lot of new trends which are going to, you know, it'll slow down actually the growth of gold. And I suppose then you'll reach a point where all of a sudden the gold price will go up because there's a shortage of supply, and probably the whole thing will change again. But in the meantime, you have this problem that people who are gold miners are put at the end of the queue, and those who are actually investing in physical gold with exchange traded funds, that is growing. That's a growing investment sector. But the equity side of it and the support of gold mines by the normal market shareholders is not there anymore.
And ARM is thinking over what it calls exciting growth opportunities.
Yes, you know, African Rainbow Minerals, headed by Patrice Motsepe, you know, he's become a spokesman for corporate South Africa. So when we go to those particular presentation results, we always question him on the state of the economy and political issues, because he is able to pronounce at that level like a corporate companies of the past used to do. You get that from African Rainbow Minerals, and he was talking about he's looking right now at very exciting possibilities. He also presented results which showed that, you know, the company is doing very, very well. They declared quite a hefty accumulated or dividend that came through, and they're sitting on quite a lot of cash, so they are able to do things in that market. And he's talking about exciting possibilities, which is good to hear, you know, as South Africa is going through this recession. But the points he also made, that these days confidence takes on a different hue. You know, investor confidence. If you've got to have investor confidence, it's not just that separate little package anymore. You also must be able to show the confidence of the poor people of South Africa in the future. If you haven't got that, it puts that investor confidence off. And another thing he's saying, that in the South African context, you must be able to show investors confidence in the future by black and white South Africans. You know, and he was saying how his company represents black and white South Africans and all language groups. And that is the sort of formula, you know, we are going for in South Africa. We do a lot in South Africa that other countries can't cope with, and we accept our lot with great vigor, and we do things. And he was saying how good our corporate companies are. You know, they're world class. And that's one of the blessings South Africa has, that at corporate level they've got very strong management. I mean, there are a few exceptions. We've had the Steinoffs and we've had a few other things. But generally, these companies, particularly in the mining sector, have been world class and continue to be that way. And so he was pointing out all his partners, you know, Anglo-American Platinum, Assor, you know, he's got a fantastic partner there. He's got Glencore, he's got Vale of Brazil, you know, he's got Norilsk of Russia. He's got a lot of major partners, and he's saying how world-class these are, which gives one confidence as well, and it should be stated more by people at corporate level. The whole South African picture, what we've managed to do here, no one else has done in the world. You know, we've brought in disadvantaged people into shareholding situations. They've grown big themselves. You see them at a lot of different levels. Now we're trying to push the entrepreneurs black industrialists, we're going for that, and we succeed in most times. And I'm sure we will come out of this recession much stronger.
And lastly, Implats has secured taxation relief from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Implats, it was a fantastic story yesterday, because although we imagined that there was a tic-tac between them and the South African government, it seemed furthest from the truth. They said that at working level, they are close collaborators with the government at the moment. And also, they brought up Zimbabwe, how close they are with Zimbabwe. In fact, they spoke about opening a rehabilitated health center there, and how they spent the whole day, with the president and 5 cabinet ministers working on what they could do. And you can see their attitude to Zimbabwe is much different, because they've been prepared to shed land that they had there, because that was long-term land in the interests of Zimbabwe, saying, perhaps exploration needs to be done here now, perhaps that needs to be turned to account earlier for the good of the country, and that we will help whoever goes there, because we've got processing facilities. So it's one of huge cooperation now, government and business talking, and you can see that they've benefited tax-wise. I mean, that's quite a substantial, it's almost a halving of their tax rate, which they've got there, because they haven't got a special mining license now, they've just got a mining license, which puts them into a different category, and it enables that Zimplats, which they describe as a tier 1 mine on the, the low cost curve, to be able to put more money into the group as a whole, rather than just focus it into Zimplats itself. So these talks with the governments are bearing fruit early, as we can see there, and also the government's ideas are also coming through very fast, because we saw with Implats, they put out their strategy that they were going to reduce their staff by 13,000. And from 40,000 to 27,000. And the reason why they had to do that is because they're losing so much money at Impala in Rustenburg. And we saw their loss-making results because of the impairment around Rustenburg, billions of rands worth of impairment. Yeah. So they're saying, we can't continue like this. These are really heavy losses. So they were saying, we're going to put 5 shafts on care and maintenance. That had a quick reaction from the government saying, hold on guys, 13,000 people, a lot of people, can't we talk? Now what they're saying is that they will look at encouraging the sale commercially, potentially, of those 5 shafts to new, lower cost operators. We know that a company like Zimbabwean Stillwater came out of nothing. So companies can, from nothing, suddenly, buy maybe 5 shafts or something. And because they are at lower costs, the one person's meat, the other person's poison, the other person's poison, there's the other person's meat, they can possibly keep those going. So this sort of mentality is being thrown into the discussion by the involvement of the government, and it shows you the close cooperation now between business and government. We hope it bears a lot of fruit and helps us to get out of this recession.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.